Good morning. I'm Jordan Slocum, and this is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30, we take a look at what's going on around Doane College athletics, academics, arts, and more. On today's program, we chat with Sydney Holtmeier, a member of Doane's track and field team. We'll also hear from Doane football coach Matt Franzen as recruiting and the off-season workouts are underway. Plus, we'll hear from Chris Wentworth, professor of physics and the chair of the Department of Physics and Engineering at Doane. But we start with the track and field team, which is off to another great start this season. In the latest U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association computer rankings, the Doane men are ranked second best in the NAIA, and the women are ranked third best in the NAIA. One of the top athletes on the women's team is Sydney Holtmeier, and I had a chance to talk with Sydney earlier this week. First off, Sydney, looking at the season so far, what are your overall thoughts?
I think we've had a great start to our season so far. I've been here for 4 years, and I think this is the best start we've had. There has been some really great marks, but I think Coach Fry, he mentioned this to us at one of our meetings. I think he nailed it on the head when he said, this is the best that we've competed this early. And even if that doesn't mean having a crazy fast mark, just means, competing with that other individual till the line and all that good stuff. I just think that we've competed really well, set a tone for the conference, and I think Doane has made a statement pretty early. So we're really looking forward to the rest of the season, and that conference meet will be here before we know it. So just keep working hard throughout the week and trust in the coach's plan. They definitely know what they're doing.
What's it been like for you over the last few years working with Coach Ed Fye and Coach Brad Jenny, because you're on the cross-country team, and everybody else who's involved with the Doane program?
My experience could not be any more phenomenal. Those coaches will, when they say they will do anything for you, they absolutely 120% mean that. Working with them has just been such a blessing. I couldn't imagine having my track career be at anyone else, with anyone else, It's just been great. We push ourselves every single day in practice, but it's just so much more rewarding being around those coaches that are going to be a positive influence on you. They're going to test you to your limits, but they're also going to praise you for your successes as well. And they have just instilled in us the importance of teamwork. That's Coach Fry's biggest goal to get from his athletes is develop their character and just make them great teammates, because that's a huge life lesson that we're going to be able to take away from the team. So being a part of this team and working with these coaches has just been absolutely great for the last 4 years. It's going to be really bittersweet having to leave in May, but I couldn't have asked for a better experience.
This is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, talking to Sydney Holtmeier of the track and field team. Now, you personally have already qualified for nationals in the 600-meter run. Obviously, you want to keep improving, but is it nice just to know already that you've qualified?
Yes, definitely so. Last year, it took me a little longer to qualify, so just being able to hit that mark a little earlier this year is definitely kind of a relief, but again, we don't really want to settle. Just always trying to get better each and every week and improving those marks. We've had great success so far, and we're just looking to get better.
Now, you're also part of some relay racing team as well. What are some of the differences as a competitor between running in a relay race versus running just by yourself?
Yes, absolutely. There's, in my mind, a huge difference. Running for a relay is just one of the greatest experiences you can have, especially for Doane track and field. I think last weekend was definitely a perfect example of what our team is all about. Just getting to the end of the 8-hour, 9-hour track meet and running that 4x4 and having all of our athletes surround the track and hooting and hollering and all that good stuff. Just running for a relay is just phenomenal, knowing that you're doing it for your teammates, and it's definitely a team effort. I think is just one of the greatest feelings in the world. Running relays is a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Again, talking to Sydney Holtmeier of the Doane track and field team here on the Doane College Review. When you look back at where you were as an athlete, as a freshman, compared to now as a senior, what are the biggest differences you see?
Biggest differences? I think as a freshman, I I was definitely very, very nervous every single meet, and I think as I've developed as a person, developed as an athlete, I've just learned to trust in myself more, trust in my teammates, trust in my coaches, trust the plan, and just know that every time you step on the track, you're doing it for the team. And I think that's very calming when it comes to competition, just knowing that you're putting everything out there for all the girls that are standing around you, and just knowing that putting on the Doane track and field jersey is a privilege, and you have to wear it with pride. So I've learned a lot over my 4 years, and I've been very grateful.
Now, we're in the indoor season right now. The outdoor season's not that far away. What are some of the differences between competing for the indoor events versus the outdoor events?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest differences between indoor and outdoor, during indoor season, it's just really convenient being in an indoor setting and being able to watch every single event right there at the tip of your fingers. Whereas outdoor, it's a little bit harder to just make sure you can be at all the events and watching all of those. Outdoor, there are some more events, and so kind of have to spread ourselves out just a little bit more. But again, I think Doane just does a great job of supporting one another, and I really wouldn't say that there's a huge transition between the two. The team aspect's definitely still there. So,
again, talking to Sydney Holtmeier of the Doane track and field team here on the Doane College Review. Now, why did you decide to come to Doane College?
Initially, I had a lot of family members who came to Doane, and in my head, I kind of thought that I was going to be the oddball out, and so I kind of didn't really consider Doane a whole lot when I was incredibly young, but then I came on a visit, and I knew right away this is where I was supposed to be. Absolutely fell in love with it. The small campus atmosphere, being able to develop relationships with your professors, your coaches, your teammates, your peers. It's just been a great fit, and definitely the track team had a huge part in that. I know when I met with Coach Fye, we just seemed like the perfect fit. Being around all the athletes that day, it was just like one big happy family, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that program.
Now, obviously, academics also important. You've earned Scholar Athlete honors before. What are you majoring in?
I'm an exercise science major, and I have minors in biology and psychology.
So last question, what are the big career goals once you're done at Doane?
Yeah, I've been accepted to physical therapy school next year. I'm actually waiting back to hear from the Med Center in Omaha this week, and so once I know there, I'll know where I'm going next year for sure, but just kind of nice that I have a plan in mind, I guess, so looking forward to that.
And any hopes to try to stay involved with track and field after you're done?
Definitely. I'm going to come back and support the team as much as I can in any way that they might need me, whether that's counting laps at a meet on Saturday or anything. I'll definitely try and support the team as much as I can. They've gave so much to me over the last 4 years. I'll definitely try and return the favor as much as I can.
My thanks to Sydney Holtmeier of the Doane track and field team for that interview. Again, thanks for listening to the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT. Up next, we'll hear from Doane football coach Matt Franzen on how the offseason has gone so far. And later, we'll talk to Chris Wentworth, professor of physics and the chair of the Department of Physics and Engineering. It'll be a busy Saturday for Doane College athletics as the track and field teams will be in Seward competing at the Concordia Classic. And both basketball teams will be at home this afternoon facing Dakota Wesleyan. The women's game will be tipping off at 2 o'clock, with the men's scheduled for 4 o'clock. The Doane women's basketball team had a big victory back on Wednesday as they knocked off 7th-ranked Concordia on the road 91-55. The Doane dance team was also victorious in a duel over Concordia that same night, 100-99. And the men's basketball team came up just short to Concordia 89-81. Elsewhere, the Doane cheerleading team competed in duels on Tuesday. They lost to Midland 90-70 and fell to Morningside 82-69. And also on Tuesday, the wrestling team narrowly fell to Morningside 24-22. The wrestling team will return to action on Wednesday when they'll be hosting Dakota Wesleyan for senior night. We now continue on the Doane College Review with an interview with Doane head football coach Matt Franzen. First off, Coach, you've been out on the recruiting trail. Overall, how's it gone?
Well, overall, I think it's going well, Jordan. We've got a lot of interest. We've got about 17 verbal commitments here at the end of the week, and I think between now and early next week, we'll probably hear from another 10 or 12 kids. Hopefully for the good of the cause. And so, signing day is February 3rd, which is not a deadline for us as an NAIA school, but a lot of kids want to decide by that signing day. And so, I'm hoping that we can take our 17 and maybe get up to about 30 or so by signing day, and I think we would be pleased with that.
Obviously, all of the additions are exciting, but is there any that really jump out to you?
Well, you're right. All of them are good, and I guess I don't put a lot of stock in it at this time, because sometimes recruiting is such a crapshoot that the good ones you think don't end up panning out, and some of the kids that you get that you didn't recruit much and just kind of showed up end up being some of your best players. But locally, there are a couple names that we're very excited about. Hunter Bradley from Crete is gonna come to Doane, and of course his sister Caitlin plays volleyball at Doane, and both of his parents went to Doane, and he's going to play wide receiver for us. And then Connor O'Toole from Wilbur is another one who had a really, really strong senior season, and he's going to come in as a quarterback for us, and he's a tall athlete. Both of them are long, tall, athletic kids. And so like I said, those are a couple kids from the immediate area that are planning to come that we're excited about.
This is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, talking to Doane football coach Matt Franzen. When you look back to when you first started as Doane's head coach to now, where do you see the biggest growth from a recruiting standpoint for you?
Well, I think the change that has taken place is our sales pitch, I guess. In the beginning, when we recruited, it was a program that hadn't had a lot of success in such a long time that when we recruited the freshmen to come in, we talked to the kids a lot about an opportunity to come in and play early and be a big part of us turning around the program. And obviously some guys like that opportunity to do that, and we were able to bring in a good number of kids. Now we don't talk much about that. Certain kids, depending on our depth chart, we might talk about an opportunity to contribute. But like I said, the sales pitch has changed more now, where it's a chance to come in and play for a successful program and a chance to come in and win and more build, I guess, and develop in the program, working into the opportunity whenever that may happen. And so some of the guys, like I said, we still talk about having a chance to come in and play potentially if we're a little bit thin at a position, but it's a much different approach than what we took 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Are you finding that players overall are more receptive now that the team's had a few winning seasons?
Yes, absolutely. I think that the players that are looking at the GPAC schools, by and large, they'll give us a good hard look, where, again, 7, 8, 9 years ago, there were kids who would look at the GPAC schools, and we really had to beg and plead to get kids even just to come over and visit. And now, like I said, most of the athletes will come and at least take a look and give us a chance. And we've got such a neat campus here, Jordan, as you know, that we feel like if we can get kids on campus, the campus really sells itself. And so that has helped just in the interest early in getting kids to come and look. The fact that we can say, hey, we just qualified for the playoffs, and we've had 4 out of the 5 years. 4 out of our 5 past seasons, we've had winning records, national rankings. Chances are that is going to continue. That piques the interest of a lot of good players.
Again, talking to Doane football coach Matt Franzen here on the Doane College Review. I know by following the Doane football Twitter, there's been a lot of talk about in-state recruits specifically. Has that been an increased emphasis the last few years?
No, that really hasn't ever changed for us. When I took over, one of the things that I knew we needed to do was focus on recruiting the state of Nebraska, and that at that point it was a retention effort, because we had, I mean, literally when I was hired, we had about 25 players who were on the roster, and for us to bring in a whole bunch of kids from out of state that would come in and maybe leave after a semester or after a year, that wasn't going to help us at all. So we needed to bring in kids from close to campus who were going to come and stay for 4 years, so we could build this thing. And so in the beginning, that was the plan, and that plan hasn't ever really changed. I think the benefit we get from it now, again, it's retention. Nebraska football is fantastic also, and I mean, obviously there's not a huge population base, and as far as Division I recruiting goes, they need to go national to find Division I talent to fill a football roster. But at a smaller college like we are, we can go to every high school in the state and recruit the local kids and bring really good players in that develop and buy into what we want to do. But the other thing is the support that we get. Our games, as you know, I mean, we have really good crowds. When we travel on the road, sometimes our crowds are better than the teams that are playing at home. And that's because it's the families of the players that we recruit. And when we get in-state kids to commit, chances are very good that their parents, grandparents, siblings, cousins, I mean, who knows how many are going to jump on board, but it's an extended family that comes along with the players, and that's a big part of it too.
I remember during the Briar Cliff game, the Doane crowd was being louder, and their video board put up a thing that said, "This is a home game. Come on."
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, even at the Morningside game, the conference championship game last year, we had a gigantic tailgate going on before the game. And Steve Ryan, when we were talking before the game, he even asked me. He said, "What is this? Has this been because of your season?" And I said, "Well, partially, but I mean, we always travel well, we always tailgate well, and yeah, it has to do with our success. But it's a party atmosphere. Our families enjoy the game, and this is nothing new. This isn't a one-time deal." So.
Again, talking to Doane football coach Matt Franzen here on the Doane College Review. Switching away from recruiting, what's some of the work that the team has been doing these off-season months?
Well, we've gotten back into second semester. We started a little bit later than some schools. We started on January 19th, and so that was a week and a half ago. We started back into the weight room, and then this last week, the second week, continuing in the weight room. We lift 4 days a week at this time of year, but we also have some morning workouts 3 days a week. We go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 6 o'clock for about 45 minutes or so, and it's some conditioning, it's some speed development, it's some good old-fashioned toughness drills and that, but want to keep our guys in shape and also work the team building part of it and develop our players too here in the off season. So in the winter months, that's what it is. Obviously, we're not out on the field this time of year doing anything in this part of the country, and we don't have an indoor practice facility. So we go in the field house and we do some stations and some conditioning and try and get a little bit faster, a little bit stronger. And for some guys, try not to put on too much winter weight, and then we'll have spring football after spring break, but that's still 7 weeks away or so we haven't really even thought much about that yet.
Last question, Coach. Building up to that spring game, what are the biggest things you want to see from your players?
Well, this year it will be a younger team. We graduated 12 starters, which hasn't happened in the last couple of years. So defensively especially, we're going to be a younger unit. We will have graduated 7 starters from last year's defense, which, as you know, was one of the best in the country. And so going into the spring, there will be a lot of development of the young players, but there will also be a lot of competition because we'll have several open positions where, I mean, Ben Muff was a 4-year starter and Garrett Borcher was a 3-year starter, and just to name a couple, but several guys have been starting. Alex Thatch was a 3-year starter. Now all of a sudden the door is open for a lot of young players, so it'll be a good competition period for us, and we want to see that. But some of those guys too that are going to be competing to take over are going to be our freshmen this year, going into their sophomore year. So at that point, there's still a lot of a lot of development and skill development that needs to take place. So it'll be an important spring for us moving forward. We feel good about it, but again, we're going to be younger than we've been in the last couple of years, and so there will be probably a little more development that we need to have happen this spring than maybe we did last year.
And my thanks go to Doane football coach Matt Franzen for that interview. Once again, this is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT. I'm Jordan Slocum, and every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30, we take a look at what's going on around Doane College athletics, academics, and more. It's now time for some academic news, as we have an interview with Chris Wentworth. He's a professor of physics and the chair of the Department of Physics and Engineering at Doane. And they have some exciting new changes coming to Doane's engineering program. First off, Chris, coming up this fall, there'll be a brand new engineering degree at Doane. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, we're all very excited about this. We've had engineering at Doane for some 40 years, but it was a dual degree program where students would attend Doane for 3 years and then transfer to a College of Engineering. And we would actually transfer back a year of credit, and they'd get a bachelor's from Doane, typically in like a physics major, and then also the bachelor's of engineering. And we've had many students participate in that, but we really wanted to be able to offer a true 4-year degree program here in Crete, so that students could have take full advantage of a small college environment and still complete their engineering training. And so, that's the plan, and that's what we're intending to do.
Will Doane still offer a 3+2 program and have partnerships with other schools?
Yes. We'll still have the arrangement that we have with Washington University and Columbia University. Students that really want a more specialized kind of engineering degree might still want to pursue that direction. So it certainly will be an option that is still available.
This is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, talking to Chris Wentworth, the professor of physics and the chair of the Department of Physics and Engineering at Doane. How will the degree differ in terms of class load and workload for students compared to what Doane has offered in the past?
Well, the credit load for the engineering major will be higher than for most of our science majors. Like where you take a physics major, we have about 35 credits of physics, and then probably another 15, 20 credits of mathematics, chemistry, and computer science. So that's about 55 credits, more or less, in the sciences for a physics major. Now, for this engineering major, you'll still have about 35 credits of engineering courses. So that's not so different, but there's going to be more other science, mathematics, computer science courses that are required, and so it'll be up to about 86 credits total for all the science, engineering, mathematics classes that would be required for the major. So it's pretty hefty, but that's what we foresee being required in order to get our certification, our accreditation, rather.
For students that complete the program, what's the demand like for engineering students? What are some of the opportunities that are available?
Right now, it's a really good time to go into many of the different engineering areas. It's really one of the high-growth job areas that we have. Our students will be primarily targeting mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer engineering types of jobs, and possibly chemical engineering, at least for the first few years. Those would be the main areas that we're concentrating on. And there are, I don't have the statistics right in front of me, but there are just a large number of jobs in particularly mechanical, electrical, and computer engineering. All of these areas are expected to be high-growth areas in the next 20 years. So, I think that our graduates will be very well positioned to get jobs right out of graduation from Doane.
Again, this is the Doane College Review, talking to Chris Wentworth, the professor of physics and chair of the Department of Physics and Engineering. What types of subjects should a student enjoy if they're thinking about going into engineering?
Well, you definitely will want to enjoy mathematics, working on physics-related areas, but also you want to enjoy just tinkering, building things, solving problems that just require a little bit of creativity. And so engineering is really all about using the tools of science and mathematics to solve practical problems. And no matter where you end up as an engineer, you have to display some flexibility and creativity in being able to solve all the different kinds of problems that you'll be confronted with. And so you have to have that kind of mentality. Don't be scared about jumping into something you don't know everything about and just figuring things out as you go. So those will be some of the things you hopefully will enjoy doing if you want to be successful in this area.
For both engineering and for physics, too, what are some of the things that makes Doane's program stand out to you?
Well, certainly the very, the small class size, the very personalized attention that faculty can give to students, and that students can have with each other. I mean, we offer just so many opportunities for students to do collaborative work, which is one of the big things in engineering. You need to be able to work on a team and to solve problems not just individually but collaboratively, and that's the sort of thing that we can do at Doane. That it's a little harder to accomplish the same kinds of experience at a large university. So those are certainly some things. We offer also many opportunities for students to get involved in ongoing research projects that could even be done in the summer, where we pay students to stay here in the summer. And the projects that we're working on are very interdisciplinary, which is one of the big things in science and engineering these days, is you have to be able to work with people outside your specific discipline, and that's something that we can offer here at Doane.
And it's definitely a challenge throughout just the sciences in general. You have to be able to work with other people because there's just not going to be solo projects in the actual real world.
That's right. That's the reality of contemporary science and engineering.
Again, talking to Chris Wentworth here on the Doane College Review. He's the chair of the Department of Physics and Engineering at Doane and also a professor of physics. Last question, Chris. If anyone listening is interested, what are the ways that they can learn more about the engineering program and the physics program at Doane?
We hope to have our website current within, we'll say 3 weeks or so. And so if you were to go to the Physics and Engineering Department website, we'll have information there. Meanwhile, anyone is certainly welcome to come in and just chat with me anytime I'm available. The office door is open, lead 242. I'm happy to talk to you about it, or just fire off an email, and we can set up a time to chat. So give us about 3 weeks or so, and we should have some publicly available information about the program.
And it seems, too, as a common theme with the people I've interviewed, is that Doane folks are always very open to, anytime students have questions, just stop on by and they'll help you out.
I think that's really one of the hallmarks of Doane College, or I guess what will be Doane University, is just that real desire on the part of faculty to help students.
Once again, that was Chris Wentworth, chair of the Department of Physics and Engineering and a professor of physics at Doane. And that will wrap up today's Doane College Review here on 90.5 KUTT. Remember, this program airs every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30 right here on 90.5 KUTT. And head online to DoaneAthletics.com. You can listen to previous episodes of this program, featuring interviews with folks from Doane College athletics, academics, arts, and more. I'm Jordan Slocum. Until next time, farewell. We now return you to more of today's best country music right here on 99.5 KUTT, Fairbury, Beatrice.